What a month. What a life. The other day I was sitting in the park recording the video I posted a month ago. And just after I finished, somebody walked behind me and sat down next to me. I didn't really mind. What the heck, bit of company can't hurt. We strike a conversation and we start sharing a little bit about our lives. We clicked kind of immediately in terms of the fact that we're both pretty strange people each in our own way. And yeah, as much as I couldn't believe it, the guy says, I sold my apartment, I've got plans for my life, but I hear your story and I'm really interested to help you out. I told him straight away, buddy, I've heard this in the past few years so many times, and I believe that many people, most of those who said that they want to help, would love to help, but they couldn't, or they didn't know how. And then there were people who said that they want to help, they probably could do something about it, but they instead ended up making things only worse. So I really couldn't trust it. 2 days later, I wake up in the morning. I get a notification, not from him, but just a notification on my Revolut banking app that my subscription model was just upgraded to the highest possible level. And I understood what that means. The rest of the week was pretty crazy. We slept in a hotel, ate loads of good food. One of the really crazy things happened after we were finished eating in a restaurant, walking around the city, Utrecht. Suddenly, out of a crowd of people, and it was quite a big crowd, 2 kids, I think they were about ages, maybe 14 or so, run up to me and they go, "Are you the guy from YouTube?" At first I was shocked, and then I realized, oh yeah, like there was one video that kind of made better circles than all the rest of them. And I told them basically just what I would tell every kid at that age, and what I would like to hear when I was that age. To be yourself. To never let anyone dictate and tell you what to think, how to feel, what to feel, and who you are. That it's really important to be yourself, no matter what. I could see their eyes lit up. It was brilliant. I loved it. Not for the sake of being recognized, but for the sake of them reaching out. Oh, duckies. The ducks came for a debate. Let me show you. Hello. So, that, and yeah, in a sense, like how unbelievable it all became. So this guy, I asked him for help. He says, sure, I'll help you out. I told him that I did have this option for buying a boat. Not this one, another one. It was in a good condition, but it still had quite a bit of work left to do. So we decided to go and get it together. And immediately, this thing had problems. The engine was too weak. When I was trying to reverse it, it kept choking and dying. Later I figured out, of course, every old engine has different ways of overcoming its problems. So we kind of, not really crashed, but bobbed into a harbor with this old scratched boat. And we decided to leave it there for the night, go to the hotel, and then come back the next day. This harbor has also boats for sale. Either they are selling some themselves or they are reselling them for other customers. And as I'm walking through the harbor and my brain starts to think and ponder, there's the guy, there is an opportunity. Should I be too afraid and too shy to ask for more than I already asked? So I walk up to him and tell him what my thoughts were going through. And he says, look, make a good deal, see what you can come up with, and we can buy some boats. So in the end, we came to this harbor with one boat and we left it with 3 of them. So I ended up basically donating this first boat to the father of the mechanic who's working in that harbor, and he really helped a lot. He gave me more than a few things for free. Some work that was needed on the boats to check them out, and then cooling liquid needed to be added. They did it all for free. Then I had a small dinghy boat, which I got it together with this boat. It was really funny, very unstable, very hilarious. Once I put the engine on it, it was going way too fast for its lack of stability and lack of buoyancy for more than 2 people. So I figured I want to get rid of that and get something better. When I asked, by the evening, when we came back from the pizza, there was this big aluminium dinghy waiting behind my boat. I'll get some pictures once I return back to the island where it is. It's still unbelievable. Before all this, a few times I was sitting alone wherever I was, and I was kind of like praying, I would say. The last one I can't forget, I really remember, it wasn't even a prayer, but I think I even said it out loud, not just thinking, but I said it out loud. Looked up in the sky and I said, enough is enough. I know I've done enough of good. I know I've been patient enough. I've gone through enough. I finally deserve to be rewarded for what I've done. I finally deserve to have my rest, my peace, my food, my stability, my safety. And I did say, I need this little miracle to happen, and I'll commit to everything else. And by everything else, I meant I'll commit to getting better, healthier, and obviously more peaceful. I could not believe this. I just couldn't. That's why it took me more than a week or a couple of weeks after this change in life to actually come up with the time, the focus, and the ability to articulate what happened. It was actually so much. Obviously, at the same time, we met another guy who also needed some help with the boat. I turned out to be really helpful with a lot of things that I even surprised myself, basically, when it comes to mechanics and engineering of the boats and stuff. But yeah, I basically tend to fix a lot, so I did. If I couldn't fix it myself, I was still right about what actually needs to be fixed. And as we were getting to know each other and bonding and sharing, this guy walks up to me and says, you know, I need to know your birth date. And I'm like, why is that important? He goes, just tell me. And I told him. It turns out we are born on the same day. He's just 11 years older. And for some weird reason, like, he said it like that, he felt something strange. And I did as well. So I didn't just get everything I wanted. I also got a new brother from another mother. Like, the feeling is the same as with one of my old, already passed away, best friends. Even when we did have any disagreements or stuff, the way we communicated about it was just the way you would probably do it with your brothers and sisters, when it's not toxic, when it's healthy and supportive and safe. As well as when they still call you out on your bullshit, of course. And yeah, at that point we also got lucky. So I will share more about that location and the way we got there, or the way I got there, in maybe the next video, or as I will keep updating on this whole development and the story. But yeah, we got basically a private location with electricity, running water, enough of place to actually park 3 boats. And we just took the time to celebrate, make some plans with each other, for ourselves as together as a new team, as a new crew, and also for ourselves as individuals. Because at the end of the day, even though this guy really changed my life around and just basically not gave me as a gift, but helped me to get to where I need to be over a night, we all have issues, and so does he. I'm not gonna explain too much about his story, but clearly we haven't met just because he can do something for me. I can also do something for the people. And let's just say that he also had to commit to getting his head together, getting his stuff in order, so that we can continue to actually develop this relationship as friends, and also continue to develop the future partnership in terms of the business and finances. And it's great, because I've never seen a person with such a heavy background do so much heavy lifting in such a short amount of time. I'm really proud of that guy. And to top it all off, when he was sharing with me, feeding me and taking care of me, basically, like, so I could literally feel like in heaven, he says, you know, the fun part, my last name is actually Angel. The irony of this one with the universe or God or whatever you want to believe could not be funnier. It was not just miracle, but literally an angel came to save my ass. So yeah, the timing was also perfect. Just as these child protective services continued to pretend that they haven't heard me and hear my story, and sometimes it feels like as if they are testing you on purpose to see how far they can keep pushing you after you've already been pushed everywhere and over all the possible limits. I was so happy, because at the end of the day, the last document I saw from them, that was also just a bit over a month ago, which triggered me in a sense to finally post another video where I did not look happy, and I was not happy, of course. But I was reluctant to actually post and talk about anything, because the way I felt was really this time starting to give up. Because in the document, what I saw was like a complete dismissal and invalidation of basically my whole story, my life, my career. Like, it's not about the achievements, but it's about the credibility that people are giving you and what they see in you. And this became a problem, because the picture that they've created was completely wrong, distorted, and to the point where it became really damaging already. And lo and behold, because it was in Dutch, and sometimes the translation from Dutch to English does sound more rude and rough than it probably should have in their own language, I did send it to the only person I can trust, ironically, my parole officer. It's like, parole officer, I would say she's become a really good friend and a confidant of all people. Real compassionate person, someone who keeps me anchored and grounded in a sense that reminds me that I need to be calm, not just for the kids and stuff, but also for myself, because I am a person with high standards and high level of respect for others, which means I do deserve the same. I don't need to expect it. People don't have to behave that way. That's their choice. However, I know what I deserve. And in order to get what I deserve, I should also act accordingly. And she does remind me of that. Of course, I don't have to act. I don't have to put up an effort. The only thing was, when I did send her that document to read it herself, and I said, I think I'm about to give up with these people. As in, I'm not gonna keep fighting anymore. I'm not gonna keep defending myself anymore. I'm just gonna let them talk out of their own asses, and then whatever happens, happens. I would call that more like surrendering instead of giving up. Just giving everything out of your hands, and whatever happens, happens. I know the truth. Nobody can change that. How much could they have hurt me with all their lies and misinterpretations of what they've heard from me? It wasn't even relevant anymore, because this was all just about the fact that the more they do it, the more difficult it becomes for me to see my kids. And it's not about my pain. It's about the fact that kids keep sending me messages, how much they miss me. Often they cry in my lap when we meet, how much they want me to be back home with them, things like that. It's their pain that hurts me, not my pain. At this stage, I don't feel anything for my ex or my attachment to the family that I did have. But I do feel for my kids. No parent wants to see their children in pain and suffer and cry like that, yeah? But it is what it is. I didn't do it, make it, and I can't change it. So whoever created the mess also should probably clean up their own mess. So I gave my parole officer, my friend, the letter and the message to read, the document, and she responded really quickly. She responded, "You cannot give up. This is about you." And I said, exactly, it's about me, so why should I care? But basically what happened is that she is the hand of the justice. And as such, the other institutions and other people cannot keep applying pressure to me with their made up stories, dismissals, invalidation, and abuse, basically. So thanks God, what happened? She offered to come and meet with me together with them. This happened the first time I met her. We all met together, and talking with them was already predictably going to be a waste of time and energy. But with the parole officer, it instantly changed everything. The energy, the dynamic, the experience. And for the first time in my life, in these kind of circumstances, I felt really heard, really seen, respected, valued, not for what people can see on me or about me, but for what I actually show, with actions, words and actions aligned, and also the proof that I can show. And there's probably quite a bit of it without anyone having to look into it. But yes, obviously a person like that is gonna do some due diligence, as she did, which I would expect and even want them to. And yeah, that meeting was outright hilarious. Of course, as expected, because the previous results were not showing anything better, I did not expect them to really be able to correct their own behavior so quickly. However, one thing has changed. They did apologize in front of my parole officer. They did promise to apologize officially on the paper as well, and I will hold them accountable to that promise. And they also promised to speed up the process of me being able to see my kids again. Well, on that note, they seem to have failed to deliver on their own timelines and their own effort, which will probably mean that next conversation between me and them is gonna be a little bit less jokingly focused. Because yeah, I cracked some jokes. I felt really good, and I do feel good. I'm happy with myself, but I'm certainly still not happy with the way what they do and how they do their jobs and how they do their work. Because at the end of the day, these people forgot that already by the age of 17, I was recognized nationally in Slovenia as some really smart kid from the streets who happens to actually intuitively know a lot about legal matters, human rights, children's rights, etc. And I was pretty smart about the way to solve all of these problems. Plus, on the other note, let's say that I'm very demanding when it comes to someone telling me that they are doing something that's in the best interest of the children, but the reality and the facts speak otherwise. So that's in itself, naturally, not because I chose it so. That was always something that just life pulled me into. I suppose when it comes to these topics, and ultimately treating all humans as equals, and treating your responsibility as a professional really diligently, which means you are diligently documenting what people have stated, what they write. You don't change their stories, you don't change their statements, and once they've noted, at least warned you that something is wrong, then you do make an effort to correct that, not make them keep correcting you over and over again. Because we all know that if somebody has to keep explaining themselves, you are the problem, not them. So clearly that just doesn't work. And they do tend to have issues with what they hear and how they hear it and how they write it down. So clearly the next step is gonna have to be a fully recorded meeting. And then they're gonna have to sign on the paper why I recorded it and why they agree that this recording, in case it has to be, shall be used as an evidence against any of their statements. So in short, these people really did not really take me seriously enough when I tried to explain to them that there's many levels and facets of their profession that I at least understand very well, if I also couldn't do it a lot better than they do with such an amount of resources and people. And I do know that that is a very limited number, because clearly the amount of cases of the amount of cases where child protection gets involved must be huge. But if their efficiency and work is doing the way they're doing it in front of my own eyes, well, then I'm not surprised that so many kids and youth in Netherlands that I've met are looking for something else when it comes to help. And that they cannot trust the institutions and the government. Who would? You tell them one story, they picture completely the opposite. I mean, this is clearly, people can't trust anyone like that. So I'm just stubborn enough and willing to correct it. And we're gonna see what happens. But from now on, they are fully aware this is a public institution. And when I enter their premises, it's still a public space, which means it gives me perfect permission to always record. I don't need to record their faces, and I can even change their voices. But that does not protect them from me publishing redacted, edited versions of the content online that exposes their lack of professional conduct and other incompetencies. So and it won't have to last long, because my son's got a birthday soon, and I won't let them stop me from seeing him. No one can, and no one should. I did not see a court order doing that, so good luck. As for everything else that was really happening, so many strange and wonderful things as well. Like, I'm really having right now harder times getting used to the fact that this is now my home, and it's all really almost in a completely ideal situation. Everything works. I've got a little small things to fix there and then, in terms of some window sills, couple of pieces of paint job needs to be done a little bit better. But all in all, I have a perfect old motor sailor, which is also a very unique boat. Only 6 of them were made, and it's a really well made boat for how small it is. It has it packs a whole lot of space and features and large diesel tanks a lot of water, everything. Hot water, heater, so I have hot air in the winter. Kitchen. Depth meter, so I even know how deep is the water under my boat if I go somewhere really shallow, which I already did, and it's pretty fun. Yeah, what can I say? Some of the wishes that came true already before in my life came true in a sort of a process, and it was still something that I really had to do something for it, whether it was work, jobs, I don't know, something else. But this really just came out of the blue. And I know it's not just like a lottery ticket, suddenly you get rich, and well, it's not exactly that much money, don't get worried. But from here, I can definitely start doing things on my own without having to worry what I'm gonna do for the next couple of months, at least. Basically, at the moment, I've got everything I need. Also a new phone, which shows with the quality of the new video, and everything else will continue to show. I'm happy because now I can finally start focusing on what I love to do most, which is sharing the beauty and the magic of life with people. Because, yeah, as much as it sounds like a cliche and everything, but when you really wish for something out of your heart, it will come true. So you have to be careful what you wish for. And it's not just think positive and stay positive. No. Be first and foremost very honest and transparent with yourself, but focus on being positive. Focus on being happy, not feeling happy, because you can feel sad and you can still be a happy person. And this is something I've already had before in my life, and people couldn't comprehend this concept. Feelings and emotions keep changing. It's like a colorful palette. Right now the sky is beautiful. Just an hour ago it was a dark black cloud, raining, cold. Life is the same. We're the same. But the decision to be something, be someone, and what you actually want to feel like, that's beyond being driven around by your own emotional states, by your triggers and your subconscious. It's a power that's not like free will. We don't ultimately make all decisions ourselves. Most of our decisions are based on our subconscious. But the moment we start becoming more aware, more self-observant, and more decisive, intentional about our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, then it really starts to align more and more and more. And you start to feel differently on a daily basis. If I read an email or a document about me being suicidal and a total loser since I came to Netherlands, I would have probably felt physically so much more upset emotional, as they say. But rightfully so. People are like making up shit about you. However, this time, as much as it felt defeat, I felt pretty much defeated already. I felt peaceful, still at peace with me, because I understood that whatever they're gonna do, it's not gonna change what I know about the truth. And it's not just the fact that I know something. I can prove it. That's the whole catch. I can prove what I say. I can prove what I did. But still, when you end up at a point where you're tired of showing the proof and proving yourself to anyone, you just don't do it anymore. You don't have the need for it anymore. They can be wrong all they want to be. You already know that's not gonna change the way you feel and the way you see yourself and your life. And whatever you do and whatever you say is also not gonna change the way they see things. So why bother? Why waste all that energy explaining yourself? You don't have to. And really, this calmness that I do have prevailing doesn't mean I'm always calm. It doesn't mean everything goes perfectly. No. I still told someone to fuck off when I felt like it. If I feel angry for some reason, at least I know now that I will express it, but then I remove myself. Because for the time, the way I feel, it's better that I'm with myself and figure it out. And when I'm more clear and calm about what I want to say, we can say it. For the most part, I see that I get triggered and angry when people become defensive, immature, and want to just walk away from a challenging conversation. But okay, some people need to walk away so that they can sleep it over, come back the next day. But it has to be shown with the changed behavior and inactions that what they say is what they mean. That's why the only trouble people have with me is accepting their own accountability. I don't have any issues. It was really funny to watch them. My parole officer was just smiling and pretty much nodding and agreeing with everything I've said to them. And one of their colleagues, the one that was sitting there on the first time and listening to my story, also had to agree with everything I've said. And it wasn't for them to please me or appease me. They just hopefully will slowly have to understand what it is to deal with someone who is really passionate about truth and his kids. All I needed was my own stability. Being in places of other people, friends and stuff, whether they are really comfortable places or very uncomfortable, either way, it just didn't work out, not for me. I also realized that as much as I'm a very sociable person, after about 2 to 3 days of spending time with people, I do need my own time. me space. The only people that never bothered me in this sense are my own kids. Because even when they say something silly, it's still funny. The children's imagination is great. But the adults and their imagination, that's no more fun. If we at least were all playing like kids, then it would be definitely fun a lot. But once we end up playing with each other's feelings and lives, nope. It's not a game anymore. But okay, I'm glad, very happy that for once, after a long time, I can look forward to the much more distant future. Make plans for the short-term future. Commit to these plans. Stick to them no matter what. Because everything else so far does depend on me now. So yeah, happy days. I still haven't gone into a proper, my own celebration of this. I've done it together with my new friends, with my new crew. I'm now the admiral of a fleet. But yeah. Quite soon, I will have my own celebration. Probably after my kid's birthday. And to conclude this episode, the people that I'm most grateful to are really all the people that stood by me and rooted for me, one way or another, from any place on this planet. I really have no words to express how much it all means to me, how much it all has meant when life was really the hardest in the recent past. I'm literally tearing up right now. Without the love, the support from this community here, all you lovely people, the random people stopping me now on the streets, without the love and support from strangers that just met me and we suddenly became friends like we've known all ourselves and each other for a very long time. Without all of this, on my own, I would have not been able to make it through. I must say that it did open my eyes and my heart to how lucky I still am, considering that I don't have anything left of my own family. And I never really had many, well, not many, just few, very few friends, but it was really not like stable connections, and some of them passed away. It made me appreciate the kind of love that really unites us all, that makes us really high-level humans. The compassion, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the family you choose. And as a humanity, we're just one huge big family. So yeah, I'm so grateful for all of you watching, subscribing, commenting, waiting for me to post a new video. Some of you have stuck with me for like over 2 years now, I think. It's amazing. I love you all. And I will definitely make you a part. So I will try to make it live when I'm giving this little beauty the new name. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks again for sticking with me. Thanks again for watching this long video, if you stayed up all the way to the end. Thank you for being you. And I really love you all. Nothing more, nothing less. Peace.